Life is filled with addictions and temptations. Smoking, for example, terrible for you, right?
Smoke.
Well, I gotta admit, everyone, I've had my own struggles recently with a different kind of addiction.
Smoke.
It's called Diablo 4, and playing it for several straight days, 10 hours a day, has to be considered unhealthy, but I've had a great time playing it, and I'm not done with it yet.
Are you smoking yet?
Alright, let's get real. Diablo is a very rich and storied franchise, one that I have dabbled with in the past because of how much I have heard of it over the years. I mean, it spans back to even before I was born, and it is one of the founding fathers, if not the founding father, of the action RPG genre. The franchise has been able to make a name for itself by having a great core gameplay loop filled with action with a wide range of RPG elements on top of that. Hence the term action RPG. Let me preface this by saying I am mostly a Diablo noob. I remember getting briefly hooked back on Diablo 3 about a decade or so ago and haven't thought of the franchise since. When I heard there was a Diablo 4 coming out, I didn't even care. I didn't think twice about it. I had no real intentions of playing this, okay? I'm a phony.
That's right. You're a big fat phony!
Boy, am I glad to have been experiencing this game. It's not perfect, but there's a lot of content to enjoy here. I'm currently leveling up my Barbarian as my main and sitting around level 55. I also made a Sorcerer as my alt character because there's so much character variety and I was eager to try another class. What had me so invested from the jump is the ability to easily connect with friends, no matter what level everyone is, no matter what platform they're playing on, and have a great shared experience of the in-depth leveling process mixed in with the fun combat. It's a Diablo game, so you're always fighting. Sometimes it's a couple big enemies, sometimes it's a horde of smaller enemies, or sometimes it's a combination of both. You are always killing things even when you don't want to kill things, or else they will kill you. The variation of the combat system is just great because there's 5 classes that the game has to offer, and so many different ways to play each one that it feels like there's way more than just those 5 classes. Through the first 50 or 60 levels, I have played 4 completely different styles of the Barbarian, and the freedom to spend some gold to respec your skill tree is always an option at any time you want. You do get quite a lot of gold throughout your travels, and you can just open the skill tree and either respec individual skills or respec all with the click of a button at just the cost of a little bit of gold.
I love gold!
And then at level 50 you get the Paragon board, which adds even more stats and glyphs to your character, which I have barely even began to understand yet. That's the thing in this game, you're experimenting constantly and killing things constantly, all while chipping away at different sections of this big ass map. It simply would not work if the foundation wasn't as solid as this is. But of course it is. Even every chest you open bursts out with goods and makes a little sound. I mean, I love opening chests in this game. You can really tell that all the small details are designed by Blizzard to get you addicted to this game immediately, and it works. I also really found myself trying to zoom the camera in within different regions of the map to appreciate the small details in the world itself. Let me tell you, when I first got into this game, I was like, wow, this is pretty detailed and nice looking, but it's nothing that I haven't seen before in Diablo 3, right? Boy, was I sadly mistaken.
Okay, so I was wrong.
I took a look at what Diablo 3 looked like, and it is not what Diablo 4 is now. That's not a knock to Diablo 3, I just don't know what I was expecting from a game that ultimately came out over a decade ago. In my head it looked the same as this new game, and it just isn't. Diablo 3 had a much more colorful, cartoonish look, and looked a lot more like World of Warcraft. Diablo 4 goes for a much more realistic, immersive approach to its world with gothic undertones, and I was surprised just how immersive it is. Uncovering the very detailed landscapes is a big part of the fun, and within the unique, highly detailed areas, there's unique, highly detailed, terrifying creatures that want to kill you at all times, like big spiders or big scorpions. There's always spiders.
Spiders? Why couldn't it follow the butterflies?
The best way that I could compare the worlds between the two games is Diablo 3 is looking more like the Magic Kingdom, meanwhile Diablo 4 is depressing yet somehow more beautiful. Now the combat in this game, that's what matters most, right? It can get pretty hectic, especially when you're playing with one or more people. Everyone has their own unique fighting style and different particle effects and abilities going off everywhere. It's addictive, it's fun, and also sometimes a little silly. This really kind of takes me out of it.
No.
This whole
He's
level,
probably not the boss, dude. He's probably just a good guy we gotta talk to.
this whole level is so cool, and now there's this guy in the back.
Just talking it.
It's very Diablo, a lot of spamming left click and keyboard mashing, toying with different synergies and abilities, different armor types, and different weapons to build out your character to become the ultimate death machine. You can also scale up the world tiers as well, meaning that things will beat your ass more and more up until world tier 4. And I didn't even mean for that to rhyme either. Let me talk about how this combat and character variety makes the game hold up over its large scale. This map is pretty meaty, with a lot of activities to do. These activities that I speak of are of course something like main story missions, which takes the player through the narrative with a lot of set piece moments. Then there's all the other side content on top of that. Side quest, world events, world bosses, tons of dungeons, strongholds, general exploration, etc, etc. Now, once you do enough of these things around the world, you start to feel like they're all more or less a variation of the same thing sometimes. Side quests usually always amount to something like go and kill this thing or grab me this item. Dungeons are actually really cool looking, but can start to feel the same after you've done a lot of them. Yet I've wanted to keep doing these things because every time I just can't resist fighting lots of things. Monkey Brain always wants to be clicking on all of the things in this game. Click on enemies, click on chests, get XP, do another dungeon and another just because there could be cool things to kill and more gear, more opportunities to tweak the build. And that's not even including the late game content, capstone dungeons, nightmare dungeons, hell tides. There's all the things in this game. People's mileage could vary with this game. You could completely no-life it and get hundreds and hundreds of hours out of all the replayability throughout all 5 characters. I myself am cool with just maxing out maybe 1 or 2 characters, but who knows, maybe this is a game that I could come back to for a long time. I could see it. The presentation of it all is just very solid, and honestly, I didn't expect to care about the story as much, but it really is interesting. If you know anything about Blizzard, you know that they put like 95% of their budget into cinematic trailers and cutscenes, and Diablo 4 is no exception. I mean, things get dark within the narrative of this game, and Lilith as the main villain is really menacing. The cutscenes are sweet, the voice acting is top tier, and I felt like I was watching a movie at times. Now clearly I enjoy this game quite a lot, but let me tell you, the worst decision of all time by Blizzard was to make this game be one of those games where you have to be connected to the online servers even when you want to play solo. This is a cool idea in theory because when you traverse the map, you run into other real players and can emote to them, you could say hello, they can help you with a boss or a world event, something like that. It's kind of cool. However, I have Walmart level internet connection most of the time, so it just feels weird to be lagging so badly in a game when I'm sometimes just playing by myself. The other day I wanted to log on to play on my alt character by myself, separate from my friends, and boom. The game is DDoSed and nobody can access the game in any capacity. Now this is a major drawback if you ask me. But yeah, overall I'm gonna be having fun and grinding the levels in this game for a hot minute, and I really believe that you're getting a bang for your buck with this. Now it is a $70 game, and I said in my Tears of the Kingdom video just how worthy of the $70 price tag that game was. And apparently that was quite a controversial statement. People really don't like games being $70. I mean, look, I'm not a fan of developers raising prices either, especially when the games sometimes are laughable and completely suck. Diablo 4 is not one of those cash grab $70 games. Just like Zelda, I think it's worth the price, and you're getting a lot of content right from the second you load into the game. And if you really have a problem with this being $70, then I don't know. I mean, I guess you don't really have to buy it. You don't even have to listen to me. You don't have to... Actually, my opinion doesn't matter at all.